I've just read an article stating that worldwide, now over 350,000 people have lost their lives to the coronavirus. That is a staggering number. And it arguably takes us to the biggest question, not only at the moment, but the biggest question people ask when it comes to Christianity, and that is the question of suffering. And that is the 10th question in this book, If You Could Ask God One Question, a book that a friend and I wrote some years ago and that I'm revisiting through this coronavirus pandemic. And the 10th chapter is simply this, asking God, why do you allow suffering? And now clearly in a video that lasts 4 or 5 minutes, I'm not going to be able to say everything there is to say from the Bible about the problem of suffering. But let me rather take you to 2 questions or 2 statements that people make when they ask me about suffering. The first is this. People will say something like this: I can't believe in a God who allows this sort of suffering to happen. That is getting to the issue of the existence of God. I can't believe God exists when I see all this happening. Other people put it like this. They say, I can't believe in a God of love who allows this to happen. At that point, they're not questioning the existence of God, but the character of God. If God were really loving, he wouldn't let this happen, would he? Now, it is those 2 things, the existence of God and the character of God, that the question of suffering raises. It raises lots of other things as well, but those are a great place to start. And where do we start when we want to find out the answer of whether God exists and what he's like? Well, we go to the person of Jesus Christ. We thought about this in some of the other videos. The Christian belief is that Jesus Christ is none other than God himself, that he came among us, walked among us, and did all sorts of things among us to prove that he is God. He did miracles to prove that he's God. He did the sorts of things that only God can do. Now, if that is right, then suddenly, even though we still have the question of suffering and why it happens, we don't any longer have the question of the existence of God hanging over in our minds, because he's come among us, he's shown us who he is, and we know he exists. What's more, when we look at the person of Jesus Christ, we begin to see the character of God. And we see in Jesus a God who is loving, who is kind, who cares for others, a God who, if I can put it this way, came and got his hands dirty among us. A God who cares so much about suffering that he came himself to suffer, to deal with the problem of suffering. When Jesus died on the cross, he died so that we could be forgiven, so that one day we could be taken to a glorious future, a glorious new creation in eternity, where there'll be no more suffering, no more death, no more crying, no more tears. Here is a God who loves us so much he wants to deal with suffering by suffering himself. Now that's a staggering thought. It's only the beginning to the question of suffering, but I hope it's a good start for you. If you want to know more, you could get a copy of this book, an ebook copy of this book from the publisher, the Good Book Company. If you go to their website, the Good Book Company, and search If You Could Ask God One Question ebook, then you can get a free copy. And you can get that until the end of June 2020. And that hopefully will help you think some more about this really important question.